I'm mortising the legs now, and I used a piece of the cutoff underneath here to square them back up again. So with this tool, it's just a little bit of setup, and then I'm making 1-inch mortises. Well, I'm shaping the 4 cabriolet legs right now, and after sawing them out, they're pretty rough, and I use a curved bottom spoke shave for most of the work. And it needs to be good and sharp, and we take off a little at a time to get it smooth. You can see bumps here where the saw goes in and out, even though I try to keep it as even as possible when I'm bandsawing it, there's still quite a bit of cleanup. I angle the spoke shave so the makes it a little easier to pull along the line. You don't want chatter. And it helps to sight it from the side so that you can see where the bumps and the high spots are. And what you're shooting for is one continuous line along the leg. And then it has to be rounded over next. So I've got 2 of them that I've done here, and you can see they're cleaned up pretty good, and they've got some sanding yet to do. But this one is a rear leg and this one is a front leg. So I've got one more, this one to finish, and one more to do, and we'll be done with cleaning up the legs. I'm using a 1/2-inch flat carving chisel here to finish off the pad foot, and what I like to do is have no seam at all. In other words, have the pad foot run right into the pad here in the front, and then in the back it'll have a little bit of a line that will define it from the back of the leg. So that's my preference, and I get it as close as I can with the chisel, but ultimately I have to use a rasp or a file for doing the shaping, the final shaping. Problem with it is that it takes a lot of cleanup then to get the rasp marks or file marks out of the wood, since the top of this foot is all end grain. But you can see this has to be fairly flat across the front here, and then go back. And of course all of this, these are sharp corners now. This all has to be blended and rounded over. You're almost round here at near the ankle. And then the design of the craftsman who made this left them fairly sharp up at the top area, so we try to reproduce that. Well, I'm working on cleaning up this leg here, and I can't get in here with the spoke shave because of the curve is too sharp. So what I do is I have this file, and it's slightly less coarse than a rasp. So it's gotten all the bumps out of there, but now we got to get rid of the scratches. So we go to our next finest file. And that gets rid of the deep scratches. And of course this is end grain coming in there, so that's always more difficult. So then our next finer file. Well, we've got 4 pad feet cabriolet legs here, and they're looking pretty good. I've sanded them to 150 now, but they'll go to 180 before I put it together. So the next step is to start to work on the back and sides, and I've got a great big pine board here. So it's about 16 inches wide. I need 13 inches for the sides and back, so I should be able to get it out of here. It's only about 28 inches including the tenons in the back, so I got to saw it off and flatten the board. Starting to flatten the wide pine board here. And the pine's pretty soft, so not a lot of hard work. But I don't have a joiner that's 15 inches wide. So I get my workout today. Probably one more pass and it'll be done. Well, I'm squaring up the sides and the back now. I've got the sides over there, 2 pieces of cherry, and then this is the back here. So I've got to square up the edges and then cut it to length. So I'm using my table saw sled here because it's a little bit too wide for my chop saw. So all I have to do is turn it over and cut it to length. Well, I'm putting the 1-inch tenons on the end of the back and on the 2 sides. So what I've done is set up a dado here, a 3/4 inch dado, which is 1 inch deep off of the edge here. And it's just a matter of taking off the first 3/4 of an inch and then the second quarter. It's a little bit thick, but I can use a hand plane to take that down and make it fit. And of course the tenons actually have to be put on there by cutting out the waste between them. Well, I've cut the tenons now using the dado that I showed doing it with the back. These are the two sides, and the sides and the back are of course the same height, which in this particular case is 13 inches. And 1 inch tenons, so now it's a matter of laying them out to match the legs and cut out the waste between them. Well, I'm cutting out the tenons now, so I have them marked out here. I used my template like a story stick, and it's just a matter of and then I'll use a coping saw to saw out the waste between them here. Well, I cleaned out this area with the coping saw, and I've shaved the tenons here to fit this piece of maple that I used to check the thicknesses of the tenons. So now it's a matter, I've already done this one, but it's a matter of cleaning out and getting this flush. So you have to pare it off in between, and I like it to actually go down a hair in between there, so that it makes a nice tight line along here when we compress it and glue it up with the legs. We'll see if we can fit this one on there now. A good tight fit, real nice. So 3 more to go. Well, as you can see, I cleaned out the mortises in the legs and the tenons on the sides and fitted it, so we have the two sides and the back. So the next thing to do is to make the apron, and I've got a template for that made out of cardboard, and as you can see, it's got to be made from about 2.5 inches thick there, so the 12/4 stock. But it of course it's out here, in there, out here, so the bottom of the apron is the same way, as well as when the face of the apron that goes along on this side. So it's quite a bit of band sawing and layout work there, so we can get started on that.